Hi guys, this is my first video and I'm just going to be introducing my 1951 Chevy 3100 pickup. Just a quick walkthrough. In the back we have QA1 coilovers with a 72 Camaro rear end on a universal triangulated 4-link. This is the original frame. I know a lot of people do S10 conversions, but then we have this whole X-member setup built from scratch. The frame is boxed in all the way up to about like right here. Inside the engine bay we have the small block Chevy 350 out of 75 Camaro, I believe, and there's a 700 R4. Right now I'm kind of just finishing up a bunch of patch panels, but this lower cowl panel's new, kick panel's new on both sides. This is new on both sides. This is new. I'm still finishing this up. I have a new cab corner. Inner cab corner is new. The rocker panel on both sides is new. I still have to patch the bottom of both doors. There's a little bit of pieces down there, right there, and right there new. Still gotta grind some of that down. Just finished up the transmission tunnel. We're still working on this. I gotta slice this right here and bring this out to even out the door gaps on both sides. Probably gonna be doing that today after I finish up the vent panel right there. But it's pretty much it as far as an overview goes. I do have Mustang 2 suspension in the front. That actually came with the truck. Probably can't really see it right now, but I have QA1 coilovers to put on there along with new lower control arms, but I gotta finish something with the steering rack because it's hitting, so I gotta cut a little bit more out on the frame so I can fit that in and then put the new QA1s in. Don't want to put the new QA1s in and then cut all around it and mess that up. But I have the brake lines ran all the way down tight along the frame. Got the brake booster up there. Fuel tank's relocated back here. It's kind of tight, or you can't really see because everything's on top of it. But yeah, this panel right here is a little tight because both right here and back here, the bend was made too far forward, so I had to cut a slit in it, bring it back, and shape it so that way it matches it a little better. It's still not perfect, but it will be able to be fixed now with some body filler, and the weather stripping will hide all that right there. But I do have a panel to cover the vent, fill that in. I filled in the original gas tank because I have the one back there. But I'm just gonna be finishing this up today and then probably working on that door gap down there because those both have to get done before I can be driving it. So, but this door gap's not too bad. It's pretty good. So, all right. So these panels weren't made perfect, so there's a lot of spots like right here. You can tell from there. That's not flush, and right here, that actual GM part was a little too far up compared to the patch panel. So I have to do a lot of like welding on both sides, do a little spot weld, and then I'm gonna have to stick a screwdriver, or attempt to stick a screwdriver in there, or beat this down a little bit to get that nice and flush, because I don't want to weld it in like that, because then if I do that and then grind it down, the metal could be really thin right there, and it's just gonna make it a lot harder. But I've been using this clamp too. It works good for like right there, but there's certain spots it just doesn't want to grip on, because right there it dips down a little bit on the OEM panel, and they just made the dip a little too far over here. Like the dip for this panel's right here and the OEM one's over here. So I gotta probably hit that down right here and try and get that nice and flush. Probably could put a spot weld right here, right where it starts to bend down, so that way it holds that part nice and flush, because that's flush right now. And then hit it down right there, just to try and get it to flow nice right there. This is all nice and smooth right here. And then it's kind of just this side that's all messed up. I'm slowly working through this. I got all this nice and flush. It's just right there. This is flush. And right there is a little messed up, but I'm working on it slowly. Alright, so I managed to get that little bend piece hit down, and now it's nice and flush right there. This part was up here, was a little too far up, so I hammered that down with a chisel. Got that down, or a punch, not a chisel. But then there's this part I still have to work on. It's too far down, so I gotta go from the back and hit it up. So I'd rather manipulate the patch panel than GM's panel, because most likely like that for a reason. So it's not too far off. So I'm just gonna go up under here and grab a punch and a hammer and hit it up really quick. Try and get it nice and flush before I tack that into place, and then I'll finish going around and then grind all the welds down. Alright, so I managed to get that little piece right there, that section, nice and flush. The other spots I used a punch because it's a lot smaller and there were smaller areas. But this one I used a chisel because it was a longer area. So I wanted to put the force at a bigger surface area, so it wasn't making this wavy. I wanted it to be nice and flat, because if I hit it with the punch, it would have just made it wavy, because it wouldn't have been a flat area. But the chisel covers up like half of it, so I just did one hit right there, one hit right there, and back and forth until I got it nice. But I did it from the bottom, but I finally got it, so I can just tack that into place. And then I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go around, double check everything, make sure everything's flush, but that should be the last spot. Alright, so I double checked everything. There was a little spot right here, right on the corner, that was a little too far down, so I did hit that up, get that flush. But everything seems to be nice now, so I just have to go around and follow my welds. You gotta spread it out because it is thin, and I don't want to heat and warp the metal up too much. So I just gotta take my time, chase some of the spot welds until it's all filled up, and then I gotta fill in these relief cuts. There's one on each corner, so I gotta work on that too. All right, I'm getting closer to being done, but again, I don't want to go too quick because then it'll heat the metal up too much and start warping it. But while I'm working on this, go down in the description and click the link, and there is an Instagram for this truck. You can follow it and watch all the progress on it. I do post every time I'm working on it, so go comment on those posts, like them, let me know if there's anything you want me to try, or if you guys have any tips or pointers. But I'll set up a time lapse while I do this, and go follow that page.
Is stacked. You can whisper behind my back. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you.
So besides the relief cuts on each corner, I am running out of like visible spots. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the little air sander and I'm gonna sand all these welds down really quick, and then I'll see which spots I miss. I'll shine a light through the back or the top and I'll be able to see where the light's passing through, and I could hit those spots. But some of the welds, I'm not the best welder, so some of them are sitting a little high, so it's also harder to like, get down really onto it. So I just want to grind it down, make sure I'm actually hitting all the right spots, and make sure I can get it nice and smooth. Alright, so I got the air sander all set up. Just like welding, you don't want to stay in one spot because you don't want to warp the metal. It will get very hot, and this is an important panel, so I don't want to rush it and ruin it all. So I have 36 grit on here right now, and just to get the bulk off, and then once I get closer down to flush, I'm going to switch to a finer grit, probably 80 or maybe even higher. But I will be welding back over it, so this isn't going to be the final sand down. So alright, I got the bulk of it down. I'm still going. I just switched up to the 80 grit, but as you can see, there's a couple spots that I missed. So I know there's this down here, but it's really hard to get into this groove right here because it's hitting this piece, as you can see right here, and I don't want to cut into that, but there's a bunch of spots I missed, so that's why I gotta sand it down, keep going a little bit more, reveal everything. These sides don't look too bad on each side, it's kind of just along this, but I gotta go back around it. I'm gonna sand it down a little bit more, get it some smoother all the way around, and then I'll make sure to fill everything in, and then I'll probably do it again, sand it around, just double check everything, make sure everything's completely solid, because definitely do not want this piece cracking. So alright, I got it down to the best I think I'm gonna get it. I didn't want to keep grinding it down to get it perfect in some of the areas like this, because I don't know how thin the metal is, and I know certain spots it was starting to change colors, so I didn't want it to get really thin, so I kind of just stopped at how I had it. I got it pretty good, but that panel is finally completely done, and then I just have to put the vent patch panel in, and then this whole section's done. Off camera, I got the gauges, well, old gauges. I'm getting new gauges from Classic Instruments, but just put those in for turkey rod run, and threw the vent windows in there. These are also getting new windows and new seals, but just threw them in there to have it where I can drive it and everything. I have to get new bolts for the sending unit because the ones that came with it, the thread count's different, so those won't work. So I have to get new ones, looking at all that. I was looking at some parts I have to buy up here, and I just bought this mechanical fuel pump, but it turns out that the previous owner of this motor pulled the rod out. So I'm just gonna be switching to an electrical fuel pump. So I have to get that ordered. I have to get all the lengths and everything for my fuel lines, and I have to put the exhaust manifold gaskets on. I do have those, I just have to put those on, and then torque everything down, connect the batteries, and then we should be able to fire it up. But it's gonna be it for today. Again, if you don't already, I will have the link to the Instagram page where you can see all the framework and everything more in detail. All the links and everything will be down in the description. You can go click those. Next time I'm working on this, I will be dealing with this door gap right there, so you can get that all situated. And then for as far as panels go, we should be, I still have to put some more welds up here, and the kick panel down there, I gotta put some more welds along that. But alright, hope you guys enjoyed.